Power Hour with John Lee.
Jack Unterweger, and he's doing some violent crimes, and the guy murders a young girl, an 18-year-old girl, takes her out in the woods needlessly, obviously, but he's robbing her, but it's not enough for Jack. So he takes her out into the woods and brutally murders her, and he gets caught for that, and he goes to prison. He starts to write, and he writes all kinds of things. He's writing plays, he's writing poetry, he writes a novel, which becomes a bestseller. While he's actually in prison, they make a film of the book. It becomes very famous. People are reading the book, people are watching the film. And who is this guy? Well, he's in prison. And after 15 years, he gets parole. And what he did, he set himself up as an author, but also as a journalist. However, while he was doing this, he was also going out at night and murdering prostitutes. And he was working as a journalist. And he was going down to the red light districts to visit these prostitutes, wearing a different jacket, basically, saying, "Now I'm a journalist and I'm doing a story about this serial killer that's on the loose. Are you scared when you get in a car? It's me. I'm a psycho." But it was Jack, and he was killing them on the regular basis. Kenneth Copeland, he's what they call a prosperity preacher. So he preaches that God and Jesus want you to be rich. And more than that, they want him to be rich. And he knows that because God tells him. You know, they have regular chats. He's got his own private airport with a hangar and a runway. And he lives in, opulent decadence. You won't find a clinic. You'll just find this dickhead getting on his jet and flying it around. About how they both need a jet. They both need a new plane so they can talk to God on it. Because apparently you can't talk to God on a commercial flight because there's too many people there. And it's just a bit cringe. If Copeland says, "Oh yeah, you're in a big tube filled with demons." So that's how he sees normal people, as demons. Now, I don't know if he's a mentalist or not. I think he might be. Maybe he found Jesus in some way in Vietnam. They're desperate for salvation. They're really scared of going to hell. And they're scared of the children going to hell. And the sicker they become and the closer to death they become and the poorer they become, the more desperate they are. And so they're more willing to give this fucking idiot money. And he really looks like a serpent from the gates of hell. And yet they still believe in him. Lance Armstrong. And then he becomes world champion at 21. Through that, he becomes aware of and meets a guy called Dr. Ferrari and knew exactly how to cheat in cycling. He goes back to Dr. Ferrari and he says, "Right, I'll be your Frankenstein. You do whatever it is you want to my body and I'll put that body on a bike and win everything." And he wins the Tour de France. He was taking the piss, especially about cycling. He's watching that and saying he's on the juice. He's clearly on the juice. I mean, you might as well get to the top of the mountain, drop an E, and snort a big line of cocaine off the handlebars before you smash it down the other side. I mean, you're making it really, really obvious. He stole 7 Tour de France's. Jimmy Saville, a child rapist. He raped women. He was a necrophiliac, scum of the earth. Absolutely clear. He was abusing girls from the beginning. He was running a paedophile ring. He was never busted for it. Decades went by with this guy. He was a prolific beasting paedophile. And who was his best mate? Prince Charles. Everybody in the entertainment industry, at least, knows that Jimmy Saville is a raging paedophile, even though he's been interviewed about it by the police. They just let this pedo into Buckingham Palace so he can hang about with Charlie Big Ears. No way. Bullshit. That was known. Protected by these people. He was protected by the BBC. He was protected by the intelligence agencies, the police, the royal family. They all protected him. And the BBC actually quashed a documentary about him just after he died. Fucking disgusting. So apart from doing marathons for children's hospitals, the very people he was actually abusing, the cold, calculated, sick bastard, was pretending to help the people that he was actually abusing. He had a show called Jim Will Fix It, which I used to watch as a kid. You would send a letter saying, "I would really like to meet Mr. T. And Jim will fix it for you to meet Mr. T." So you can actually just bring these kids in and attract kids and all that. Just repugnant human being. And he was selling charity.